So I'll assume he's saying goodbye to these two plastic Balisongs. If the sale goes through, there's someone in China that's interested in buying them. But communication is a little, a little bit of lost in translation stuff. But before I say goodbye to these, I'm going to make a video on them. So this is the Etsy 3D printed cubed ink Balisong. It is 3D printed, pensless design, and comes in a myriad of colors. I also like that they have a little kitty on the bottom. Here, look at the purple one. You can see it. There's a lot of cool things about this. For one, this Balisong is like $23 with shipping. I want to say, at least in America. So it's like $20 retail. You get to choose a buttload of color options. And it's actually not bad. So, for one, this Balisong is really light. It's plastic, of course. To give it away, it is 2.26. That's very light for even plastic Balisongs. That's kind of on the light side. It's also rather tall. Let me just get a Benchmade 67 clone, and you can just see how gargantuan this motherfucker is. So, yeah, she's rather tall. So am I. And then, since I have the chrome out here, here's the chrome in comparison. So even for plastic Balisongs, I guess I didn't really hold it up. Even for plastic Balisongs, quite tall. And then lastly, the Cygnus that I just have stabbed in here. This is, it's tall. It's very tall. It is also noisy as fuck. Yeah, I see that peaking my microphone. That's specifically for closing. Now, there were normally two rubber bands. I took one off because it was supposed to be like a bite indicator, and admittedly, these rubber bands are not the most durable. One of them already broke. I think it's like two rubber bands on each side. That said, for 20-something bucks, it's pretty decent. It's a bit handle bias, like just a little handle bias, but it does fan pretty nicely. You can chaplain it. I'm like, here I am doing things like you can chaplain it. You can do twirls. You can roll over. You can basically do anything you want on this Balisong. The blade does not have a ton of weight, and the handles have weight just simply by how long they are. And it is noisy as fuck. But I will say, if you wanted a Balisong for admittedly dirt cheap, this is one of the Balisongs that I can recommend as one of the most ethical, inexpensive ones. It is not Amazon garbage. It is actually made by a Balisong flipper, so it's actually not bad. Yeah, it's got its flaws, but like for $20 for a plastic for a plastic Balisong made by an individual person, I can pretty wholeheartedly say that like your money towards this goes, a person's groceries, just the regular ass bills, opposed to some nameless Chinese clone corporation. I want to also point out what's interesting is that the cutout for this perfectly matches the Balisong blade. Now this is the bite side, but if you can see here on the safe side, it lines up perfectly. I don't know why they didn't just make it a rectangle. They specifically accounted for this. I just think that's interesting. The blade is textured on one side. You can see there's like some, grooves and stuff like that. Obviously, this is 3D printed, so it's whatever you want. It's completely flat on the backside, which makes sense, I guess, because that's just kind of how 3D printed works. So, it's probably printed like, this way. As for these handles, I am not 100% sure which side it is the print side on, but there is these grooves here that are like a single jump, which is for the rubber bands. And unfortunately, even when you close, it's just like the blade will slap the handles. That's intentional. It is a pinsless design, so like, also it's plastic, so like these handles will slap together. So with no rubber bands, it's even louder. But yeah, there's like, I want to say like close to a dozen options of colors, like maybe 10 or something. I haven't checked it, and so for a while it was also like when I was like trying to be like, oh yeah, you could check this website out, it was just not on Etsy. It does seem to be back up, so I will be linking it in the description of this video. But yeah, the Cubedink 3D printed plastic Balisong is the cheapest Balisong that I think is an ethical purchase. Again, you could get like garbage on Amazon for $10, and it's worse than this, in my opinion. And if you hate plastic, then, you know, don't buy something that you know you won't like. But, like, you know, if you're a parent and you want your kid to have a very non-threatening Balisong, this, you know, it's literally plastic. You can't hurt anything or anyone with it. Yeah, it is still blade shaped, so if you wanted one that was not blade shaped, unfortunately, this is not that. But it does function. And if, you know, if you're a kid and you're like, I have $20, what can I buy? It's basically just this. Unless you really want to get some crap, or clones, which I don't really endorse. And even clones are more than $20 typically. So how good of a flipping experience is it? Pretty mid, but again, for the price of performance, quite nice. The textures are mostly comfortable. There is a little bit of like, I think the inside channel is just like a little bit, there's something that's like a little bit coarse that when I like flip this, and there's a lot of like pivot weight relative to the tip weight. But yeah, honestly, like, it's not great, but it's solid. I think this is a really solid Balisong. And, you know, on Etsy, there's a lot of weird things, and this is probably one of the better ones. I've seen a few. I have not bought all the Etsy Balisongs I've ever seen. I am not made of infinite money, despite what people might think. But yeah, the cons, the cons are not the best balance. Mostly just a lot of pivot weight. Loud as fuck. Tolerances are, you know, it's a 3D printed Etsy Balisong. The tolerances are what you expect. It is just quite large, so it's a little bit bulky, if that's a problem for you. I also tried to see if I could put a rubber band on here to see if I could dampen the slap, but no, because of just how tight the channel is relative to the you know, the blade. So if you did put a rubber band, it would completely just stop up here, just because of this channel. But yeah, I still think that this is a pretty decent product. If you want to save more money for a better plastic Balisong, you could do that. There's definitely, especially now with the Nabali's Canyon, the original Vulp, as well as the Orion 1.5, there are a lot of really, really good products sub 100 that you can get that are really, really competent. But yeah, this is the cheapest plastic Balisong that I find, and it's actually pretty decent. So, Cubedink. They have a few other things, but this is probably the most notable item that they have, and not bad at all. So if you like this video, subscribe, give it a like, click the bell, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on this. Maybe you think this is hot garbage. I mean, you're entitled to that opinion, but I think this is, I'm also a pretty forgiving person. I think this is not bad. And yeah, also, like, if you have an extensive collection, this was like my 4th ever Balisong after the Mako, the Vulp, and the Barracuda. And so, like, this is like my first plastic Balisong. I don't have any regrets purchasing this, especially it being like $23 total with shipping. So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts. And again, check out the coffee in the description. Helps me support this channel, keep it going. Yeah, so with that, toodaloo, have a good one.